Feature Friday.
The freshest.
No, Jordan, speak.
Hey, what's happening?
And we are live, ladies and gents. We are live to Waleska's,
To Waleska's?
most dreaded experience the whole week.
It's not. I haven't been dreading it.
I don't know why you're so scared.
Crazy dreading it.
Basically, welcome to Feature Friday Plus.
Welcome.
Which is
Our new baby.
Yeah, second podcast of the week. So it was, you obviously get Feature Friday where, we watch music and we talk while we watch stuff and we review stuff and try and break stuff down, and I overshoot my theories and stuff.
Every single time. We also talk about our life's experiences and talk about the videos that we're watching.
Yeah, and we're basically just, that one is just, we learn new music.
Yeah, we discover new music most of all.
We've done French and Russian
and we've done Korean and Spanish,
and Latin stuff.
And Latin stuff.
From music from Spain, like Rosalia, and we're gonna do more Spanish stuff as well.
Yeah, that's also on the works.
But this one, I thought it would be fun to have a podcast where we just sort of just
talking.
Talk. Yeah.
As if it was hard for us anyways.
Yeah, because a lot of you guys as well enjoy that, the conversations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, why not, mate? Do another podcast a week. We have extra as well, but
that's right.
And we love recording and stuff like that. And
it's such a good time. I think we added also as you can see, the little lights at the back, so you can tell the difference of which one you're watching.
That doesn't matter, mate.
Yeah, it does matter. It matters to me, so it matters to you too now. So it is.
Yeah, the lighting is fun. Yeah, whatever. But one of the things that I've always wanted to do is when we're in the house and stuff like that, and we talk about what we think of the music industry or whatever's happening and stuff like that. I wish some of those moments were on camera, because I'd love to see what other people think, and I'd love to see if maybe it's just my head and maybe I'm just crazy or people actually agree with certain stuff, or and one of the things that we've noticed lately with the channel is that we learn so much, and I've said this before, it's we learn so much through the comments.
Yeah.
And it feels so organic and genuine, rather than looking up on Google and all that stuff, even though probably Google is a little bit more accurate,
Actually, but I just love having the comments and people interacting as they watch the videos, because that sparks my curiosity in certain topics that I didn't even know I would search for. For example, knowing that He Breathe was written by a former SHINee member that committed suicide. That to me was that's crazy, because when I saw the video in the podcast, you can see me searching up who wrote it.
Yeah. His name was John
Hyun.
I think that's what it was.
Wait.
And he's written, and he used to write a lot of stuff for a lot of songs. Yeah, that was definitely a shocker when people started saying it's oh my gosh, John Hyun. I think that's right. Yeah. Kim Hyun. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing it.
I think we're getting better. No, not to overshoot it, but I think we're getting a little better.
And one of the things that is one of the comments was, oh my gosh, I can never hear this song
without crying. Yeah.
And I was because that song did have something really it wasn't eerie.
No. It was very true. It was very
touching.
Honest. Yeah. And obviously, reading the comments, I literally searched up the writer who wrote the song when I saw the video.
Yeah, we did.
And obviously that didn't ring a bell to me, because I don't know much about much.
No,
basically,
we're super new when it comes to the Korean world.
We're literally scratching the surface when it comes to it, and it was really mind-boggling to discover.
Yeah.
That such a beautiful mind created such a beautiful song.
Dude, and that is one of the scariest things I'm noticing lately. It's you get so many cases like this,
they're so similar as well.
And it's so scary, because it always touches me. I think on that podcast, it probably hit me hard. The R&B one that we did, because
we talked about Sully
and in that Dean video and stuff, and that just hit me so hard, And I was like, I don't really like when people cry on camera and stuff like that.
I find it hard to watch too.
Yeah, but it sets me back a little.
Yeah.
And then I thought there's also that weird thing where you don't know if they're actually being genuine.
Yes, and even when they are being genuine, people will always disguise it like disregard it as if they're just trying to do it for the views or whatever.
Unless it's like
exposure.
Yeah, unless you're pulling that move, the 2012 apology video.
See, but I think that's what corrupted everything.
There was a point in YouTube where crying on camera
was
an anomaly.
Yeah, it was something genuine.
And people were like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, and now you have to hold it back so you don't seem fake. It's so funny.
I don't think holding it back. I do think though there's certain people that do, not saying names, but like there are certain YouTubers or artists or people like public figures and stuff like that.
They just
exploit that a little.
Yeah, they take advantage of that. Yeah.
There's a lot of like stuff going on Twitch, and I've never been on Twitch. Right, and there's a lot of like drama. Like one of the weird things I found out lately is like there's channels on YouTube, right, that cover online news.
Oh wow, yes, and I've discovered them with you because obviously we live together.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah. So whenever you're watching something, I accidentally end up watching it too.
Yeah, sometimes I sort of I watch stuff on your user.
Discovered that,
and then accidentally, I don't know why.
Yeah, the other day I got on my YouTube, I got recommended a bunch of UFC fights, and I was like, how did that happen? I don't even watch this.
Yeah, in case you don't know, I'm a huge UFC fan. I love the UFC, and I'm so gutted.
But you know what? I've learned so much because you say the names so often, and you show me things and like, Waleska, watch this, look at this, this is so cool, look at it. And I'm like, dude, what do you mean? It's not even that cool. And well, to me, because I don't know anything about fighting. Do I know anything about fighting? I don't know anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
To me, it's just a bunch of people punching each other and choking each other, you know?
Fair enough, yeah.
To me, there's really no like...
Be fair, you've pretty much explained it.
Yeah.
In 2 words, punching and hugging each other.
Yeah.
You just call it clinching. That's all it is.
Ah, see, I did.
Or if they're cuddling on the floor, it just means they're
choking.
They're trying to choke each other.
Yes.
Or maybe get on top of each other and be dominant and then hit them really hard in the head.
Yep.
Onto one of them. Stop.
Taps out.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm tapping out.
Yeah, so that's just like channels that cover online news, right? They cover like even low, I don't want to use the word low status, like low level influencers, you know what I mean? Like slightly less
things
notorious.
That are happening on the internet overall,
less notorious influencers or really big YouTubers or really, like public figures type of people. And on Twitch right now, it's like, it's so crazy.
It's drama town.
Yeah, because I think one of the issues with Twitch is that I don't know how it works, but I think from what I'm seeing from the news...
What is Twitch?
I think
is that a gaming platform?
I think a lot of people
use it a lot.
I think a lot of people that game and do gaming stuff like that do have a Twitch channel. But I've seen even some reaction channels are on Twitch sometimes. Like, and then I think, those videos you see on YouTube where they have like the chat next to it? That's probably from Twitch.
Let's just search it up. Let's see what Twitch looks like.
Or perhaps, you've definitely seen it because it's so popular. But I do think it's more popular between the gaming community. That's probably what made it so big. But from my perspective and my limited experience with it, I think what the issue with Twitch is that, so it's, yeah, there you go. You definitely recognize that logo.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I think it's probably just more.
Oh, yes.
See that?
Yes.
And then people can donate, and then people can sort of like, I think they can subscribe. So if they subscribe, it's
so
not like YouTube, like it's free.
Yeah, so you get like exclusive content when you subscribe. Is that how it works?
Not too sure. I think they also probably get priority chats. Like maybe their chat comes up if they donate, or if they subscribe, that means they're like I don't know, like they get notifications of your content. Maybe they can.
So they're like the first. They get prioritized. So they're like the first in line.
Maybe that's probably. I mean, you could probably search out the whole subscribing thing works there. But my what I think the issue with Twitch is that it's become so big that most of it comes into this gray area of like it's a free platform, right? So anyone can go on it, but then it's like there's an incentive to donate. It isn't like YouTube where you can literally
it's just a free platform.
Yeah, you can just watch
unless you pay for the premium membership.
And if you want to support the channel, you watch like an ad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But in this one, there's sort of like an encouragement to like pay. Or maybe support. I don't know, but I always think when there's money involved in content and stuff like that, like you're maybe forced to pay, or it's like behind the paid wall, stuff like that. I think that's when things maybe get tricky.
Is that the same with Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon's been on my head lately a lot. Yeah, because not only it's a great idea.
I don't really know much about those platforms. I know that a lot of animators that I watch that I liked it, like like animators that I like their work. They always posting it first, or selling their memberships. Is that how you would say it?
Yeah, so
on Patreon. So like people who are on their Patreon can watch the mini series that they have animated before, or
yeah, sort of like selling a product.
Yeah, exclusively on Patreon. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't really know.
I think
how
Patreon, the whole concept of it is amazing, especially for creators that sometimes struggle with like YouTube demonetization, or they struggle with that copyright and stuff like that. And that it's great because
it's a huge pain, by the way.
Huge pain in the butt, yeah. So, but the good news is, I think for creators is that it's also a monthly fee. So your fans can support you monthly, right? So it sort of brings a consistent income to people that struggle. Like one of the guys I saw, this guy does like illegal train hopping. I didn't even know that thing was a thing.
How is that even a thing?
Dude, and he gets millions of views. And
where?
Obviously
on YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah, millions of views. But obviously YouTube restricts his content.
Of course.
But also, it's probably limited monetization.
If it's not not
illegal,
monetizable whatsoever, probably because of the illegal activity.
Yeah.
He probably can't make money out of it.
So what he does instead is he allows his viewers, and
That's just mad,
it's a bizarre piece of content.
It's like, what is that?
Dude,
what is that?
Search up his channel. It's so crazy.
Train hopping.
Yeah, train. And he sort of like jumps in these trains and like he travels immense amount of mileage. He does insane mileage on these trains, and then he gets to like his destination and stuff. That's not him. But you see, that got 4 million views.
Oh, look at that though.
Jesus Christ.
That is
Self-proclaimed idiot hopped in freight train.
Yeah, okay.
That's crazy. But yeah, so
look at that. That is insanity.
Yeah, I do not advise anyone to do that. That is wild.
Definitely not making money.
But it's not him.
It's
not him. There's another guy.
But this guy is not making money out of those videos. That's illegal.
I don't know. Yeah.
4 million views though. That's pretty good. Who's there?
Pretty good. That's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know. Just put train hopping. He'll come up for sure. He's one of the biggest guys.
Train hopping.
I think he's Russian. Him. Illegal freedom.
Where?
That guy. Yeah. Him. In case you're just listening.
Support my work for $1 or more on Patreon.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like, his editing is amazing. The amount of, you see, it's an hour and a half long.
Yeah. It's a production.
Crazy amount of work in it. Now, do I recommend what it does?
Definitely not safe.
But as a piece of content, you're like, what? That's one of the
entertaining.
Yeah. What's your job as a content creator? It's to entertain.
Yeah, it's to entertain.
So maybe.
I just wonder.
Morally, it's not right. I don't know, but.
People.
Badass.
You know that we were also watching people from the Young Bloods. You know how he edits his videos on the go.
YBS Young Bloods, yeah.
How we watch his videos. He edits them sometimes on the boats and stuff when he's diving and whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering, how does this guy would do it? Like, where does he put all his equipment? Okay, so he's filming with a GoPro.
Yeah. He's got 2 GoPros, I think.
And obviously his laptop will go on his backpack, and then he just jumps in like camps and stuff.
No, I doubt. No. So from what I've seen, and I've watched quite a few of them. Yeah, it's weird when you're stuck at home.
I've watched quite a few of them.
You literally just go down this weird rabbit hole of just watching content. But what I think he does is he has a very large, probably like a storage device.
Okay.
On him, or the SD card is huge, and he just keeps recording on his GoPro. He
probably has different, like several SD cards.
Probably. The thing is, he throws his bag around, gets wet, and all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
He does. I doubt he has his laptop with him. He never showed it in like an hour long thing that I said. Excuse me. So what I think he does is he travels, and then once he gets to his destination, I think he goes back, or maybe he buy, because he does buy tickets every now and then, because sometimes it's just too crazy. There's scanners and all. It's crazy. It's like a video game, dude. It's insane. So I think once he gets back, he sees all the content he made, and then he edits it. Yeah. Probably gets back to his house, or I don't know, probably lives under a tree or something.
This is crazy though. Like that is just insanity.
Yeah. So Patreon for him, it's probably one of his most consistent income streams.
Yeah.
He's he's quite big on Instagram. He's got about, I think, 60,000, 70,000 followers.
Me. How many views?
5 million.
5 million views.
But we know
illegal.
Yeah. But we know the demonetization bit of YouTube. So yeah. I don't know.
Especially with those hashtags, for sure not getting money out of that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So that's why I like the idea of Patreon. But then it's gotten to this weird stage right now where people are selling like all types of crazy stuff there, like locked content behind that type of stuff. So it's like, all right, if people are doing it, then whatever. But I don't know, it just gets a bit wild. But it is like some of the stuff you can get on YouTube. It's crazy. And what's even crazy to me is that there's only one YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Vimeo.
Yeah, I mean, there are other video uploading platforms. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, like what?
Like Vimeo and
literally, what? MySpace. You might as well say MySpace, mate, because Vimeo is just as alive as MySpace, probably.
I don't actually know. I don't know a lot of like the internet, alright? Honestly, I'm on it, but what am I on when I'm on my phone?
The big platforms.
Literally. Instagram, Twitter, and I don't really know how to work Twitter. Monica handles Twitter because I'm a noob on Twitter, but like I know how to like navigate it.
Yeah.
And I deleted Snapchat. I couldn't get my head around that. That was boring.
After that weird update of Snapchat, it
just got so boring. I was like, streaks. Like, why? Why are you doing that? This is ridiculous. What is the point?
Yeah.
And the whole scoring system. They lost me. Okay. It called me old-fashioned, but they literally lost me.
Yeah, I no longer have Snapchat either now.
And the two platforms I go back and forth, social media speaking, is definitely just Instagram and YouTube. Those are the two that I consume the most.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, and Netflix and like streaming services like Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and Netflix. But apart from that, I rarely really use my phone for anything else.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so strange. I was listening to Joe Rogan speak about it, and it's so strange that he also agrees. He's the big boy of podcasting. He's the big boy of probably one of the biggest channels right now in the world. And he's saying it like that. It's like there's only two places really where you can post stuff and then you can just blow up to millions of views like that. That guy Train Hopping has millions of views. And you can gather an audience, and people actually care, and they're on this app consuming media and the content 24/7.
Yeah.
From all around the world. There's only one like it. Like, for example, Instagram. You kind of have Facebook. You kind of have TikTok, and there's sort of like
TikTok is becoming really, really influential. I think.
Dude, search this up. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I saw it on the internet and I'm just repeating it. But I read that TikTok now has 1 billion active users. Dude, that is an insane.
How do you spell that?
Just tick with a K.
Okay, just tick with a K.
And then talk with a K. There you go. TikTok songs. And our people, like becoming stars of TikTok and all that stuff. But 1 billion users. 2020. TikTok has 800 million active users worldwide. Alright, so I must have definitely lied then.
Definitely lied.
17th of February 2020. Yeah, all right, not 1 billion, 800 million.
That's a stupid amount of people.
And it's really blowing up though. TikTok is weird.
That's a stupid amount of people.
It is.
How does that even make sense?
I don't know. I have no idea. No idea because. Oh, I don't have a.
You don't have a phone?
No.
That's okay.
I have no idea because it was sort of like Musically before, wasn't it?
Yeah, before it became.
And I remember we even thought about, creating stuff there and stuff like that. And
We do have a TikTok account, but
no, I
do we
mean
use
when
it?
when it was Musically.
Oh yeah, I remember trying to do a few videos of that.
Yeah, when it was Musically, it was crazy, because no one really knew what the hell was going on, and it was one of those apps that how many people are on it. It's a bit weird.
It's like House Party.
What?
House Party for me is strange. The other day
But that's not a social media platform.
It is a social media platform.
It isn't. You can't share videos or photos and stuff like that. It's like a communication thing. It's a mess. What do you call it? But yeah, maybe like a messaging app. That's what it is. That's what it falls down under. Because it's just video chat. In case you don't know what House Party is, it's like a.
Everybody knows what House Party is.
Nope, no, they don't. None of my friends do, apart from the people that have it.
No way.
Literally, nobody knows.
I didn't know about it until you told me about it. But then everybody kind of like started talking about it on around my circle. They haven't, like, my friends were having house party nights in.
Yeah.
So they were having like this whole getting dressed and getting drunk in their rooms was being a house party, okay?
Literally.
I just avoided it. The introvert in me was like, too much. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, cool. It's just like it's like FaceTime, but instead of just FaceTiming one person, you can do conference calls really easily. But the weird thing about House Party is that you can have this thing called Sneak in the House, where if someone is on House Party and they're not speaking to anyone, or maybe they are speaking to anyone, you can just join the call without anyone's permission.
Yeah, that's why they give you the option to lock the room.
Yeah, so it's really weird, but
yeah, it's very strange.
It's hilarious.
Gets really weird. Sometimes you open the app and then suddenly you're speaking to a randomer and you're like, hello, hi.
The safe bit though is you can only talk to people that.
But you have added.
Yeah, so if you haven't added them, then it's whatever. No, like only your friends.
It's still weird though, because you don't expect it. You know when you go on to an app and you're like potato head looking at nothing.
Yeah.
Just like to see what's up, because I was trying to like understand how it works. I was like, how is this? What is this? How? And suddenly I was talking to like 3 people at the same time. I was like, wow. Yeah. Why am I here?
Yeah, but I don't think House Party. I think it's probably become that big is because of the whole being locked in sort of thing. But
definitely.
And everyone sort of wants to socialize and stuff.
It's like the Instagram lives. I have never seen it more active than this. Like the artists, people that you know.
Dude, yeah.
People that has never spoken in live ever.
Yeah, because people are online, so they kind of want to watch him. Like so, I saw a John Legend.
Yes.
I don't follow him. He just came up on my Explore sort of thing. John Legend live. He was doing this people would send him requests with his wife. His wife is very, very attractive, and she was like she seemed very like down to earth, because sometimes
I love her. She is so relatable.
Sometimes how this really attractive models sometimes
seem a bit detached.
They seem but they might actually not be like that.
They're humans.
From my limited experiences, most really good looking models, you'd find they're probably some of the not the nicest, but I'll say they're some of the, once you get past that little shield, because when the cameras are around and stuff like that, they just basically some of the most normal people ever.
Yeah.
And
they're normal people.
And if they're upcoming models, I find they're the most fun around to hang around with, because or hang out with, because they also seeing what you're seeing in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So they try, I think when you're coming up like that as a model, you try to, okay, I'm not gonna be like that.
Exactly.
I don't want to
yeah.
be a pain, you know.
Yeah.
But then you start realizing it's like sometimes you just have to do shoots and you're pissed, you know. You're
No,
angry.
or you just have to get your point across because you can't really be the submissive one the whole time because you have to,
Yeah.
stand your ground sometimes.
But
it's very important.
I forget her name, but she.
Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, that's it. She was super cool, like just chilling basically, and that's his wife, right?
Yeah, they are like the coolest family. Them and Blake Lively with Ryan Reynolds, they're like my favorite famous couples like ever.
Dude, but John is so good.
He is unreal. Like,
That guy, the amount of talent that guy
he's a
has.
genius. He's a genius. You know who also has amazing live streams that I adore? Hozier. I adore that guy. His voice.
The guy that sings, "Take me to church."
That guy. But he's doing it, so he's like trying to have funds to support children that are getting abused around the world, or I think it's Ireland or UK.
Is he British?
I don't really know. That's a really good question. I think he's Irish.
Right.
I think he's Irish.
I'm not a big fan of that type of music, but that song was fire. And he blew up so fast.
He's so great. He
Looks a bit like Jesus.
He looks like Jesus.
He was born in the 90s, look. 1990. Yeah, he's
so
30.
he's 30 years old and he was born in Ireland.
Right, so he's doing that thing for
So
Irish
he's doing.
kids.
I think it's the UK overall. He's trying to raise money for children that get abused in the UK. Right.
It's a unique one in these times.
Well, he started it because apparently the percentages of kids getting hit and hurt and whatever by their parents has increased since the current situation started because kids are not in school, parents are at home the whole time, and apparently that has something to do with kids getting hurt more often, right? By those toxic environments. And then he's trying to raise awareness and raise money as well to help that cause. And I thought that was such a cool, like,
what do you think that is? Say something like, I don't know, so that you hit your kids and then just because you're spending more time with the kid. And the kid is stuck inside.
Yes,
just playing Legos. You kick the Lego and
remember these are also people that have low income, so the stress of not having jobs and stuff. So I was actually listening to his
it's a good motive to raise money for, because that's really literally something that you don't really think of. I think one of the things as well is probably what's happening to those like support networks right now during this time, which is like they're probably under enough stress, not only with people helping them as like workers, probably
volunteers and stuff.
Yeah, volunteers and stuff like that. That's definitely limited as hell. So they're probably
it's limited in a normal time. They have limited staff on normal times. Imagine now that
everyone has to be locked.
Yeah, everything's are so crazy.
So then add the like financial stress that they must be on, because that's one of the weirdest bits that I find. Maybe they just survive off donations, like those type of like support networks and stuff like that.
I was also seeing, because he attached a few videos and links and stuff, and people that are struggling, they're just living off of like food stamps and like food banks and stuff, but it's obviously not enough. That's only food, but what happens to the rent? What happens to everything else, the bills? How are they gonna keep on going? Some people have literally been laid off. There's no way to get help from the government because they're officially unemployed. So it's a very tough time. So that's a big psychological pressure on a parent, right?
And then they can just snap.
And add to that, problems with alcohol or behavioral problems in the house. They're already dysfunctional. Then, it just adds a lot of it's like a pressure cooker. Right. At some point it's gonna explode. Yeah,
I like that's a good motive to race to. It's a good a course. But then I think also like one of the cool things you're seeing is because so many artists are stuck at home, you are seeing that type of like fundraisers and stuff like that. I also saw Tom Holland, Spider-Man boy. Spider-Man boy. He's so weird that he's British. He sounds so American to me in the movies. Like he's doing his job.
I love it because he's the pinnacle of a British boy.
Dude, he used to play bowling near my school.
We used to play bowling.
We used to play bowling. And Zendaya was there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that and being so gutted that you couldn't go.
She's attractive. I think she's one of my crushes. She's one of my, like when people ask you like, what's your celebrity crush? Probably, yeah. She's good looking, yeah. She's good looking.
Zendaya.
But what was I saying?
Point?
So those type of like race funders, he was doing one fundraiser. Sorry, he was doing one. I think it was for food and stuff like that. I'm not too sure. But also, one of the cool things you're seeing is you're getting all these people stuck at home, right? And artists have to create. They have to. That's what they do for a living. But also, it's like that's how they keep their brain going. Having lived with this one for like 20 years, but then you're getting all this amazing music for free on like live streams and stuff like that, and you could literally, one of the things I was doing, I've never been a big fan of lives on Instagram. When you get that notification, I just swipe up, see you later, mate.
Me neither. I never used to be really into it until now, because I think my favorite artists are doing it, and then you get to see, their rooms are like their living rooms, and you can see them with no makeup on, and it's cool. It's like a really cool way to connect to that celebrity, and also they get to display their amazing talent, and it's so inspiring.
I think one of my favorite ones, definitely John Legend. That was one of my favorite ones for sure. He was just literally, dude. It's like, oh, can you play this song?
And I was
he would bang it out, and then he would sing so well. And then his wife, Chrissy, is that her name? She'd just sit there and just be like, yeah, that's all right, not bad. Yeah, that's all right. No, yeah, not bad. It's like, dude, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That guy's wild.
You know which one I also really liked? Charlie Puth's.
He was good.
He was hilarious.
His was, I think...
he's such a funny guy, isn't he?
Sponsored by Red Bull, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah. Which I think is a great way for... Like, if advertisement right now must be weirdly booming.
In a very unusual way, because everything's online. I think the online world has never moved as fast and as... And with so much demand and creation of content overall. I think this is the time for what I've seen, it's definitely the time where social media has been the busiest.
Yeah, probably. I think it's definitely the time where people are probably consuming that amount of online content for sure.
More than ever.
Because, I mean, TV is still going on and stuff like that, but you're sort of at the mercy of what the TV is showing. That's why I've never really liked TV.
And that's why with online streaming services have become such a big thing, because you are the one who chooses what to watch, how long you want to watch it, or there's really no limitations. So
literally none.
Yeah.
None. So it gets in this weird position of like I haven't turned on that TV
in years.
Yeah. But then I also feel is like online you sort of only get exposed to what you get exposed to
because of your likings and
yeah.
So I guess it's finding that balance, isn't it? It's like finding. But I think, to be honest, to be fair, I actually believe that in the online world, even though you get exposed to the things that you watch or the most, or you are most inclined to like. I also feel like the online world also pushes things that are most popular regardless of whether
definitely.
You like it or not.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You're constantly exposed to things that you wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, like think about it like this. This
one good enough, like Tiger King.
Yeah, I think the thing about Tiger King, I think the reason why it boomed is because Tom Segura was talking about it in his podcast, and Joe Rogan was talking about it in his podcast, and then all these guys were like, "Yeah, let's talk about it on our podcast."
Do you know how I knew about it?
I've never seen it.
No, I knew not. I didn't even know what it was about. I thought it was like a movie or something. It's like a documentary series, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't know about it, and I knew because Anderson Park, he kept mentioning in every live stream he ever made. He was like, "Watch it, everybody! If you haven't seen it, watch it now. Go watch it now." Oh, that's another live stream that I adore. Is him and his sons. Oh, they're hilarious. They do
He's a
like
father.
a
He's
yeah.
quite young.
He has 2 kids.
How old is he?
I don't know. I have no idea. No idea.
I thought he was like 22 or 21.
No. Could be. Don't know.
He is...
Age.
Oh, it's 34.
There you go.
Yeah, it's 34, yeah.
He
Yeah,
has 2 kids.
I didn't think he was that old.
No,
I mean, he's
no,
not
no.
old, really, but you know what I mean?
His-
Like, I thought he was like
His
22.
oldest kid is like, I think he's like maybe 8 or 9.
Right.
Well,
so he's a recent father.
Yeah, and he has a younger one. Is like about 2 or 3, perhaps.
Yeah.
They're adorable, right? But they have him and his eldest son have like this Friday dance-offs where they like dance off to each other. It's so funny because they go for it, like for real. Efra, it's like they're serious about it.
Yeah, dude, when you're in
And
that
they
age...
have sing-offs as well. They're like start singing for no reason, and the kid, you know that his wife, I think his wife or his partner, she's a South Korean.
Really?
So the kid is like obsessed with BTS, and then he does like all this like BTS songs like from the top of his lungs, and he's like, "You're over singing. You're over singing. You're totally over singing."
When you're in that age, it's weird
so
because
great.
you have no concept of like what's a bit weird, what's a bit cringy. You just go for
You
it.
just do what you think it's okay, and I think that's what the best thing about being a kid is, though, because you feel like the coolest kid in town,
Literally.
and it's the greatest thing ever, though, because you're so, what is it, confident, you know? You're so sure that the world and everything is just gonna work out.
Those
and
kids,
everything's just fine.
those kids like that, like Anderson Park's kids. I've never seen them, but if they're like that, sort of like super out, and then they just do whatever they want,
Yeah.
and they really go for it. Those
And
are
they're
dangerous kids.
And yeah, they're constantly encouraged to be
Yeah,
great.
of course. And you should. I think you should.
Yeah.
There's not. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but they become dangerous because then they start finding what they're really good at, or what they really like, or what people like about them when they sing.
Yeah.
And
This is their fam. This is them.
damn, he's got drip, that kid.
Of course. Hello. His mom is South Korean and his dad is Anderson Park.
Yeah, you see, and yeah. So when you get kids like that, it's like they
Look
sort
how
of
cute they are. They're
You-
so cute. I'm sorry.
you're creating like this little like, I don't know, this kid that's gonna be able to pick out stuff because he's always gonna allow, especially if you have an artist as a father. So he's gonna know. So no, people don't like when I do this. People don't like when I do that. Or this is what I'm really good at. Or this is not what I'm good at.
I think it's more. I think he's a. Well, I don't know, but because I don't know him personally.
Encouraging kids like that is huge. You
But
should.
yeah, he's a very encouraging figure. Like you can see him constantly being aware that his kid wants to try
Right.
an experiment
I see,
constantly.
I see.
So
I think that's probably the only thing you can do as a parent, because you don't want to force stuff into a kid. You know what I mean? You don't want to force stuff into a kid, but you also do want to kind of encourage them to do things and
to be brave enough not to be ashamed of
Yeah.
things, you know? And I think that that's such an important part of nourishing a creator.
that's what I'm saying. Is that you're creating
you're-
someone that can then create too.
Yeah, you're nursing a new creative mind, and I also believe that every kid has it.
Yeah,
But it's how you not manipulate, but how you direct
Nurture
their,
the kid.
yeah, how do you direct the energy. Just I'm talking from like my experience with like teaching kids and whatever. and having to coach children that naturally feel inclined to doing certain things, and how do you model them,
Yeah.
and how do you encourage them not to be afraid to try things that are out of their comfort zone. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do if they have never been told that they're in a safe environment, safe place. I talk from experience, because even though I was from a kid, because I've always been performing since I was a child. I had great coaches and an amazing support system at home that always let me do whatever I felt like was the right thing. Obviously, supported and guided, but whatever
creatively wise.
Yeah,
I thought it was mostly guided at the beginning.
Yeah, whatever I felt like was the right outfit to wear, my parents would let me do it. And when I was 7, I would dress myself to go to school, and they never stopped that creative environment. But then I also saw kids that were in the same coaching experiences, that were in the same dance schools or in the same acting classes, and their parents or their support system would, they would put them in boxes, like
Right.
a certain behaviors were allowed and certain behaviors weren't allowed. And then you start to see, as the kid developed, how they were afraid of trying new things and coming out of the comfort zones, and realizing that they were in a comfort box and having to step out of it in order to build was such a huge thing. And I say for myself too, I think you constantly look at your life and think, okay, I think I could push my boundaries a bit more,
Which is so important to do as a kid. Start doing that as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid, because you start to be brave about it. You don't look at it as a monster anymore, you know? You start to think of it as a possibility to try to reach new limits and try to reach different goals and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's definitely as a probably just a family, in general, whether you have kids or you're an uncle or grandfather, whatever. I think probably the healthiest thing to do to a child is especially if they're creative.
Just let them be.
Yeah, and then if they're really physical and outdoorsy and sort of like sporty, it's also just literally let them figure stuff
it
out.
Yeah, let them figure it out.
And once they figure something out that they like,
then you can start
in and nurturing, try to, and start sort of guiding them into that path. But I think it's such a fine line. Obviously, we're not parents.
We're not parents at all.
But from seeing,
and we've both have worked with children, so I think that's where perhaps our perspectives are coming from. They're constructive.
And also not only that. I think that counts for itself. But I think seeing how our parents did it with us. Because we were so polar opposite in so many ways, but we never realized that until we grew up on how different we were, because we did pretty much very similar things. It was it's mainly because I would want to copy everything you did. As a kid, I'd really want to be with you, and people really liked you, so I wanted to
be involved.
Yeah, and I also felt protected and stuff like that. So. But seeing how they retrospectively thinking on how they did it with us, or how I was introduced to art, music, dancing, performing, it seemed very seamless. Like it
very natural. Yeah.
It never felt like, okay, we're gonna put you in dance class because you have to learn how to dance. It never felt like that. And sometimes when you see parents do that to their children, you're like, I mean, I don't want to judge, but maybe that isn't the best way. Maybe it's I don't know. That's why I probably think parenting is so difficult.
Yeah, I am in absolutely no position or place to be giving my opinions whatsoever when it comes to that. But
seeing this in Anderson Park's family, it's so cool.
Seeing that, and not only his, I'm using him as an example, but John Legend does the same with his kids, and you see Alicia Keys with her boys,
Yeah.
and yeah, so and Pink with her children. So there are plenty of artists that nurture the kids to find that creative side to them without it looking as though it's
Without
been,
forcing it, you know what I mean?
it's been put on them,
And now there's so many like different role models that kids can just follow. Like one of the things I was seeing lately is like, okay, what are the role models that people have here in in America or the UK or Europe, sort of thing like that. And then one of the people that came to my mind is like the rappers and singers and actors and things that are people that are super hot right now, and especially because everyone is consuming social media like there's no tomorrow. Obviously, kids are also doing it. Maybe they're not on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, but maybe they're on YouTube, and they see their YouTubers, their favorite YouTubers, their favorite content creators, and stuff like that. And one of the things I realized is like, music is a huge part for kids, right? And they look up to these people that make the music, right? It has the whole fame facade. It has the whole illustrious look of these guys are famous. They have money.
It's the fantasy world that they have created through a screen.
But I think as you grow older, it
phases out
a little. I think a lot of people still enjoy believing in that idea.
Oh, definitely. It's so nice to see wealthy people living their best life.
Yeah.
I do nowadays. That's why I watch telenovelas.
Yeah. So, but one of the things I was thinking of, now that you've brought sort of like Korea into it, seeing how, from Anderson Park's wife, one of the things that's really struck me weirdly, and has made me really think, off camera and things like that, is the huge difference between Korea and America or Europe and even South. It's huge. It's completely different to South America too, where we're from. So
yeah, totally.
I wonder how parents there maybe see that. Like, do they give their children, because you see these idols, right? You see BTS, you see BLACKPINK, you see YG making this baby monsters, whatever it is that's coming up. You see GOT7 selling 227,000 copies in 2 days. All these different idols, all these different role models that these kids can look up to. And then do parents maybe encourage this? Like, oh wow, I want my kid to be, an idol. I want my kid to sing, and he can hopefully build a career like this. Forget school. No, because if you want to be an idol, they start really young.
Yeah.
Right, and then they go to these sort of like academy systems for the label systems, and they nurture their skill that way, and they weed the week out, and they it's like a funneling process, right? And I wonder, like, what's the general consensus with parents when it comes to kids? So, do they encourage them? Is this like a
common role?
Not a common role. Like God, it's hard to think like that.
I know.
So it's just we have distractions going on right now. But is it a worth pursuing career, or is it perceived like that, like a doctor or like a architect or like a teacher?
I
Korea?
I know that from like the very little research that I have done, and like my very limited knowledge when it comes to the Korean culture based off of Korean dramas, basically. I've just come to the realization that it's very similar.
Hard to construct an opinion from.
Yeah, but you also
K-drama.
read up about it, and because it sparks your curiosity, and then I end up reading about like the history and how like. I've done a little bit, like, as I said, limited research.
But you're saying sort of like the storylines and concepts and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's the closest thing I have to getting to understand the culture.
Right.
So obviously, like,
Exaggerated.
it's an exaggerated version of what it could be. In reality, but you see certain behaviors repeat themselves.
Yeah.
So obviously you read up about it, you try to like construct an opinion about it, and there are certain careers that are seen more important than others, like very similar to what it is like in South America, for example. Say, you know, engineering and being a doctor and
Sort of the big ones.
like, yeah, architecture and stuff like that. You know, those are the big names. You know that you're bound to have good money, a good career out of that. But I don't know what the side of like the artistic side of it is, because it's quite important in the Korean culture as a whole. I mean, they really love their poetry. They nurture their poetry and their plastic arts as much as they do with their actors and singers and idols. So, which gives me a sense of that perhaps it is accepted in the Korean family group to have, you know, an artist and perhaps try to nurture it and try to help it come up. But I really have no idea what the general concept and like acceptance of it is, because I know, for example, based off what it's like to compare it to something that I know, that is South America, Venezuela. You knew that becoming an artist was going to starve you to death. You knew that you didn't have a successful future ahead.
Well, not successful one. I think
it's a limited one, perhaps.
A difficult one, and a way more, and a way more
a less
bumpy road
path.
Yeah, because there's no path in Venezuela. There's no path for artists, you know, that can sort of make a full-time living from.
And that includes musicians, plastic artists, reporters, journalists, all of the rounds that include entertainment.
Yeah, rappers, good luck.
Yeah, anything that includes some type of entertainment or
it's difficult.
Arts,
it's very difficult.
Yeah,
but
creative side of
very
it.
difficult because I think it's as you said it. There's no really road over there, and the perception of it is very different to how in Europe or America it seems.
Yeah, but for example,
perceived. Sorry.
But in Venezuela in the 80s, the music market was booming. You know, they had very good artists that were selling internationally, and the Venezuelan music labels were, you know, importing people from other parts of the world and making them their own. So there was an acceptance of, let's make our people popular with their music. But as the political situation changed and things got a little ugly, the first thing to drop and disappear was the artistic side of it all.
Well, that definitely that and sports.
Yeah, definitely. That's another thing that, you know.
And there's so many talented people both in the from the you know, music world and just artists or painters and from that type of a profession. And then there's also so many talented athletes and sports people. But that's my question is like what's the perception around that? What's the perception around idols from parents to kids? And like, for example, here, like say you're a pro tennis player, right? Parent would see you as like, wow, that is something I would love. It would be amazing if my kid could achieve that, or a pro footballer, and my kid wants to be that's the huge one in London. So I want my kids, you know, my kids want to be a footballer. I was like, all right, cool. It's a desired career. It's a desired dream. I don't know what it's like there because it seems from comments and messages that people send us, it seems very traditional and very like they follow the academia very strongly.
Closely,
so it's like school, career path, job, family.
Trippy.
Sort of, yeah. You know, not to hate on it, but I guess that's just sort of how it is. But
it's not hate. It's simply a cultural difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and then these guys are also one of the things that we were talking off camera is like, if you compare the role models that these kids have from Korea compared to the ones they have here in England or just the Western world in general, dude, those guys like BTS, they seem perfect. Like they make no mistakes. They don't swear. They don't do they don't do any of the bad stuff. I can't say the word because of YouTube. barely, they drink, but it's like it's not really shown in their videos, or profanity, or
Or it's
promiscuity,
promoted, yeah.
is that what promiscuity?
Promiscuity, dude.
You know what I'm talking about.
Whatever that is.
Bunch of ladies shaking that,
Shaking the cake.
shaking the goods, like their mamas told them to. But it's like they're perfect.
Yeah.
It's also not real, because I've always said, and I joke about it. It's like, mate, I hope these guys are living.
Yes.
I hope these guys are dating. I hope these guys are enjoying their life.
Oh my god, Efra, I just have to show you this video that somebody sent to me to show you.
Because it's not great for the mental health, mate.
No, it's a crazy one. It's
Good.
It's a hard one, right?
Are they partying hard?
No, but this video, this is the thing. These are the things that get seen on public. So they already have the facade that they have to be proper. They have to, act like
That's why I like Super Junior and GOT7.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
So this is GOT7. It's a bunch of fangirls. And look at them. They just what?
Nice.
They're so good. These girls are so good. So they're like shaking their booties and like cheerleading for GOT7, and the boys are like having aneurysms about it.
Oh.
But how good are they?
Yeah.
They're awesome, right? But the boys were like having full-on attacks over it. They were like, "Oh, how do I act?"
I hope these guys are dating and
they just kind of, and the caption on that video to show you was, "This is just a little glimpse that they do get booty."
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they do. Come on.
But my problem is, my concern is not that they're not. I mean, that's like the possibility, the likelihood of that are like
0.
Yeah, it's very low. So,
0.
but my concern is that they're not portraying that in the media.
Yeah.
As healthy. Like,
that's a good point.
And that's such a huge issue for whoever the hell's watching that.
That
it's
is
like,
a very good point.
If I was famous, I would have to give up my dating life. I would have to give up this. And also, it's like, maybe dating is bad. And I saw this weird documentary, and again, I've been down a weird rabbit hole lately of just consuming documentaries like they're statistically true, everything they say, and just because they look good and the documentaries
they pile
sound
all this
amazing,
information together.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like not in Korea. I think it was China. I think it was China. Well, no, Japan. It was Japan.
Between Japan and Korea, there's already a huge cultural difference already.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, one of the things, there's similarities in this sense of the dating thing with famous people, but I don't know how it is in Japan. One of the things that they're struggling in Japan is like that a lot of people are no longer dating, basically, and like these weird services are coming up. These weird services coming up. Like, you can hire someone to cuddle you and all that stuff.
That's so strange.
Yeah, not even the good stuff.
No.
Just cuddle.
Just to like feel human touch.
The boyfriend experience.
Ha!
Right? Little massage. They make you dinner.
Little cuddle. Little rub of the hair.
Go to bed, and that's it. They they sort of like literally nap with you, and then they pay me.
So
see you later.
what are you? I'm a professional cuddler.
Yeah, literally.
No way! I was thinking this.
Absolutely true.
No way!
That's a service.
That's crazy.
And it's so sought after by girls, and even sought after by. I think with guys it's a bit different. With guys, you could probably just get a woman that it's looking also for the good stuff and for money. You know what I mean? So I think, and also women could also do that.
I think men crave the touch, just human connection more than they do.
Maybe, yes. Let's say yes, right? But my concern is, what the hell is going on? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what is happening? And then I'm getting all this...
It's a weird time, yeah.
Weird. And then you're also getting all, these Korean idols that are like, oh my gosh, they dated this person. When Kai apparently was dating Jennie, or wasn't not, I don't know. Whatever, but it's like, why was it made a big deal? I don't understand this stuff. And I whatever. If that's the Korean culture and all this stuff, or maybe Efra, you don't understand our ways. It's like, all right, mate, but it can't be healthy. I mean, for the love of Jesus. And then you're telling me all these stories of like how there are idols that have super sadly and unfortunately taken their own lives and had enough, basically, because you're like on, and we're seeing also this compilation of artists, idols, especially not artists, just idols from Korea, that like even talk shows and stuff like that talk about their previous experience and stuff, and they're snapping. It's like, it's crazy. I feel like I'm in a bubble. I'm a singer, but they don't let me sing. They make me do all this dance stuff and all that stuff. And then you start realizing what some fandoms, like for example BLACKPINK, the Blinks, are feeling. It's like, you have these 4 amazing girls, and why do we only have 13 songs? You know, why do we not have a full album? But they're doing huge modeling stuff, and they're doing all these social events, and they're selling the label, and they're selling brands and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, cool, but it's like, why are you not letting them do this stuff? And then you realize that they're under, you know, sort of label handcuffs, and it all gets very strange. And then you add all of this on top of pressure, money, fame, a career, your dreams, and then once you get to the dream, you realize it's like, maybe the journey should have been better, or maybe the journey wasn't even worth it, or maybe the top is not even worth it, and then bam. And you realize all of this, was it worth it? So do parents see this when they talk to their children about it? Is it just not sought after because, I don't know, maybe it's not seemed, you know, like a worth pursuing career? It just makes me question so much. It's like, is it even fair that is it even a good thing that a lot of people are supporting this? You know, I support it. I like these guys.
But what are we really?
Yeah, like what's behind the mask?
What are we really supporting?
And then it gets on this weird conversation, which is, you know, you also get the same here. You know, in London, in the UK, in Europe and stuff. It's like, and you talk about rappers selling their soul, not literally doing juju, but like,
you never know.
Yeah, maybe, but like doing that bit where you have to do whatever the label tells you. You have to pretty much give up your own moral grounds, opinions, things that have shaped you to be the man or woman you are. You have to give that up for a contract. So that's what I call selling their soul. And is it a worth sacrifice? Is it a necessary evil for the industry? I don't know. And as someone who aspires to, you know, make music and hopefully people that enjoy it, and I know, you know, it's part of your dream too. It's probably more your dream than mine. And
I'm just dragging you along for the ride.
And we've been in a small scale, very small scale in that industry, but in the South American one, and you didn't really get to see that, but we were also kids, so you see everything through a spectacle. I
think you were a lot younger.
To realize a
lot of things. I think by the time I started to wake up to the ugliness of the business, you were still in the years where everything seemed perfect, you know?
Well, even when you left to Europe at the age of 15?
Just before,
yeah. So
because I spent a year.
So that was the year where I really started noticing, okay, what's it like when you're alone?
Yeah, what's the difference between working as a unity like we usually do, and then having to work as individuals that we also had to do.
And then also it's like, because I was also the youngest one, there wasn't as much pressure on me. If I didn't want to go to rehearsals, if I didn't want to do practice, if I didn't want to go to a show, if I didn't want to go to a social meeting,
gathering,
an interview on TV, I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah, people would work around you.
I would never say that. I loved it. I absolutely adored it, and I still do.
You were like that little rabbit bunny on Red Bull. You know, when they go like, oh, rah! That was you 24/7.
You're talking about the Duracell bunny. It's sort of like, I think it's a bunny.
It is a bunny, isn't it?
It sort of like goes.
It goes crazy.
It goes nuts. Yeah. Literally, I was on Red Bull 24/7. Not that I was, but.
But that's how life felt with my brother when he was a kid. That's how life feels with you overall. It's like you're always running 10 times ahead.
That was the only time where I sort of realized, it's like, things is getting
It's
serious.
not, yeah.
Things are getting
aren't
serious
as
now.
pretty as I thought they were.
And it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of stuff involved that because you weren't there anymore. I mean, you have to still host a show, you still have to do shows. Especially the thing that hit me the hardest was doing the tour, because we used to be in this band which it's called Gaitas, and the band
Had a
wasn't called
season.
Gaitas.
It's a seasonal thing.
Yeah, probably from like September
Maybe, but yeah, September definitely.
Yeah,
That's
September
when we open season.
to January, right? So you're touring all around the country. You know, you have tour bus, you have a sound system engineers
you have a
with
team.
you. You have a team.
You have a whole team.
You have people that do your uniforms and your outfits. You have people that do the makeup for the girls and people that do sound tests. It's huge. And the fun bit about it is that our family was heavily involved. Because our father was the sound engineer, so we was very heavily involved in that. So we never felt alone, and there was a lot of guys, a lot of kids.
We were a family though, because we grew up with.
What do you mean?
The people that we worked with, like the other kids that we work with.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as I see these idols.
We grew up together though.
It's the same thing I see these idols.
The
say.
idols, exactly.
It's like,
yeah,
we were family and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, but
there's a difference between having your parents there and not.
yeah, but you I mean, I don't know. I've always sort of struggled with that concept because.
Oh, to me it was very easy. I think because I started. I don't know why you found it. I don't know why you found it strange, but literally, I started on stage professionally when I was like 5, 6.
Yeah, 6. Yeah,
when
you're getting paid. Yeah.
Yeah. How old were you? If I were 6, you were what?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you were literally
Buzzing,
the
mate.
mascot, and you were already getting paid. Nuts. Anyways.
Dude, sometimes this is crazy. I don't even know if we should say this on camera. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. But sometimes.
Maybe we shouldn't.
But sometimes, like when you're, I'm not gonna say it. But sometimes where you would come off shows and stuff like that, and then you could sell the disc, an album. Back then, it's like sort of like offering someone your mixtape.
Basically.
You know. But in these shows that we would go to, they found out that instead of doing all this marketing in newspapers and all that stuff for people to buy the album, they would be like, Efra, go with Ballet
talk to the people that just saw you play
and be like, we actually have just released this album this month. You can get it for whatever, $30, and then they would use me literally. And each time you sell one, they give you like, I don't know, like 15
percentage.
A percentage,
yeah,
maybe like it was 30%. It was a lot, and the amount of money.
Yeah,
dude.
Sometimes I remember like at the end of the season, like we would like be bawling, and my parents would be like, save it all. It goes to a saving account. Goodbye.
Dude, when I was, I think when I was 6, I bought a phone. When I was 7, probably I bought a phone. When I was 8, I was buying jewelry. When I was like 9, I could buy any shoes I wanted. I was a crazy kid.
Yeah, but
I never became
crazy.
Spoiled, which was something very,
because
very
we
interesting.
had to work very hard for the money. It was never given. I think it was never shown to us that this is what you get. Like this is just here's your allowance. It was never like pocket money.
Yeah.
Like we had to work our butts off
to
get there.
So then when you get this really nice amount,
it was a very nice reward, even though I didn't have a clue of what to do with all the
literally,
money.
bro. Literally, I was crazy. Bali would always save it, and I was like, spend it, mate.
Yeah, but
7-year-old kid telling you, Bali,
spend your money. Yeah. Spend it. Big spender. But it's just weird because obviously that paid for my year abroad, years abroad studying and stuff like.
Yeah. So they say all that stuff.
Yeah. And then when you go back to it, because when I went back from studying in Europe, I went back to Venezuela, and I remember you guys were halfway through the season already.
Bang on halfway, yeah.
Bang on or about to finish, or something like that. I caught it like.
You caught it December time.
So I caught it in the.
No, you caught it end of November.
No, Efra, because I didn't go to school until like February.
Yeah, you caught it end of November, but you literally had like 3 weeks of school because in Venezuela they break really early.
True.
For December.
That's a good point.
You came end of November.
Yeah. So I caught it like halfway through.
No, towards the end, mate.
Towards the end, yeah. And yeah, I remember all of you were like at the end of the season, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go shop, and I was like, God dang it, I'm so broke.
I'm nothing. Yeah, and you were broke as hell
I was
because
like, God damn,
you just got back.
I'm so broke.
Yeah, so you always have to be
Europe
asking
is
for money.
expensive.
You always have to be asking for money and stuff.
And
It's
not
so
only
funny.
that, but like, I had to work. I had to work double as hard.
Yeah, that was also
Crazy.
some. That's my question. It's like, how much money? Because this was something really interesting that happened a few months ago, or maybe a few weeks ago. I'm not sure. I just saw it come up on my YouTube. It's that Juice WRLD, who unfortunately passed away.
Mm-hmm.
His mother, you know, you have to go through this legal process of then releasing your financial stuff and all that stuff. So people found out what his net worth actually is, not what people's, not what these magazines make and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, like Louis Capaldi saying, people saying that he's worth like 100 million. And he's
He's
like,
like,
yeah, where?
Yeah.
Because in my bank account isn't.
yeah. So we you got to see these really interesting figures on Juice WRLD's sort of different bank accounts and stuff like that, and goods and houses. And the guy that was breaking down the video, very insightful guy. He was breaking down all this financial stuff, and he rounded around about 2, 3, 4 million, something like that. And you're like, but this guy
Worked
was
his
the
butt
hottest
off.
rapper.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD was one of the hottest rappers in the world. You know, and okay, you know, Jesus Christ, look at us, like 3 million is not enough, you know, it's little money, but it's huge amount of money. But the amount of
But
people
compared to what
they reach,
you would
what
think,
they sell,
yeah,
the amount of ticket sales this guy makes, the amount of endorsements, sponsorships, work for the media, concerts, merch.
yeah, overall, just their
Oh, I thought you told me to press it. Sorry.
Oh no, we got 5 minutes still.
Okay.
Their overall influence in the pop culture.
And probably grossed well over 10 million.
Exactly.
You know? But then, you know, label deals,
Label deal gets a cut.
tax. You also have, you know, expenses.
Hate that word, taxes.
But so you sort of get to realize, so like, oh, hold on, well, let's put it in on a bigger scale. Let's put it in the biggest boy band in the planet,
Okay.
right? BTS.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Let's just figure it out. So he was probably, I wonder how, because you know, there's 7 of them. So it's also earnings gotta be distributed about 7 of them, but also their label. It's not just a label. It trained them. It fed them. It gave them a house when they were broke and they were just studying and training and stuff like that. It's promoted everything. Without them, they wouldn't be BTS,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, also a big hit because of BTS. You know, benefited hugely because they're about to go bankrupt.
Yep.
From the stories I hear and the documentaries we've watched. So, how much money is actually going to Jimin's pocket? How much money is going to V's pocket? How much money is going to, you know, RM's? What about Jin? What about John Cook? And then these guys also sometimes have to go to let's talk now EXO. What happens when D.O. is in the army? Like what happens in that amount in that year to his earnings? This, you know, if you were with a label and these people are streaming your songs, mate, the amount of
royalties
you get out of those streams is peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute peanuts. The label's probably getting like I don't even want to say percentage because I'll sound ignorant, but it's very small compared to some of the contracts I've seen. So it's really a facade, a huge facade, and then it's probably bigger in the rap game because rap culture is
about the flex.
not about the flex. It's to show what you're doing, show what you're making, show what you're worth, you know. And you probably definitely do get rappers that are coming up that are flexing harder than what they actually have, right?
But they're playing the game again.
So you know, it's not immoral. Whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it just makes me wonder, man. It's like,
how much is actually too much, and how much is actually earning at all?
no, it's not that. It's how much is it worth? How much is it worth? No social life. How much is it worth? No
Your
freedom. How much is it worth?
Your mental health getting hit, because I think one of my biggest pet peeves, I would say, about the industry is how it actually approaches.
I'd say, because I'm 1,000% with you. I would say our opinion, I mean yours or whatever, from the limited experience and also that agenda and not agenda and perspective that the media gives you and this type of videos give you, because we're not in it.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's a very good point to make. From our my personal perspective, and of course of the very scratching the surface information that we get. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to understand how they handle, for example, the mental health of a person like Demi Lovato. You know, a person like Selena Gomez, and Heath Ledger. You know, he was the guy who played the Joker, and in the Batman where the hospital. He won an Oscar, but
Arkham City.
Yeah, but he killed himself, right?
Dude, oh my gosh.
Yes, so I'm saying that suicide comes around quite often, and then you see it in the K-pop industry. I thought perhaps it was 3 odd people suffering from mental health and the pressure of the industry, but then you start reading articles related and like actors that collapsed and died while shooting, people that
keep coming out and talking about it. Yeah.
And the more you see it, the more you think, wait a second, I think that's a very delicate thing that I think has been masked and put on makeup a little bit, because it's not a pretty topic to talk about.
I think it's definitely coming out more though.
It definitely way more than before, but I also think that creative people tend to be a bit more emotional, and not in a bad way, not to say we cry all the time, but I feel like we're more
aligned with feelings.
We try to tap into our emotions a bit more in order to create a better performance overall.
Yeah. I find that's the case with singer-songwriters and actors and things like that, because you have to access your emotions to perform.
Especially, I think anyone. I think poets and writers, people that create overall. I think if you want to give your best, you have to be in tune with your emotions, and sometimes that's a very dangerous roller coaster that you have to consciously put yourself in, and sometimes you get stuck on the low. How do you get out of it, But there's pressure of the labels, there's pressure of the publishers, there's pressure of you have to be here, you have to be there. There's also the public's opinion.
Well, this storm is happening in your head.
And you physically are in the lowest point of your life, How do you get out of that? That's why I admire so much what BTS has done.
With that album, Love Yourself, yeah.
And not only Love Yourself, but their journey, their personal journey that they have commercialized it. I thought that was a genius idea, because how do you get 7 individuals to find
common ground?
They have individually had to
artistic common ground. Weird.
And not only that, but Efra, to me the most incredible part of it all is that they individually on their own time had to stand up in their own heads, had to like stop everything and think, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and I know this is not the best place I can be, but I'm gonna take myself to a better place. But they all 7 of them did that, or are in the path of doing that, which to me that's nuts.
Yeah, maybe that
1 individual is already a success story. 7 though. Tough.
Maybe that's sorry. Then maybe that's what you refer to as family, because does seem like a family struggle. The fact that because they're all going through the same struggles together, like a family. They're all washing the dirty clothes in the same house, and so I get your point about the family bit, but the thing I completely agree with you, which and it is crazy, it's that they do seem to all be in the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's like they
mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And one of the crazy things is you want to create a piece of art that's relatable to anyone. Focus on what's inevitable, like struggles, feeling lost, the search for meaning, fulfillment, the ever unanswered question of what's the meaning of me, of you,
what's
of
happiness,
this,
how do I find it,
what's happening here. If you want to look for a more relatable a piece of art, you want to create something that's very, very relatable to everyone, you got
have
it there.
to ask your questions.
And that's why I really like that video we watched of was it Jin?
Yes.
Yeah, of Jin. I forgot the name. Answer something. Epiphany, because and it was one of the points you brought up, that you were like, oh my god, but I feel so dumb when you say stuff like that, because now that I see it, that's exactly what it meant. But it's like no.
Each point is valid from each perspective.
Not only that, but so there's 7 of them, right? And they're all going through similar stuff, but they all express it in different ways with the same understanding and the same concept. And
that's
then,
why I thought it was so genius.
And then seeing them go through that journey is not only inspiring, but it's very complex and in and of itself, because it's like these people who you think are perfect and are sold to you by the media as perfect and have played to the perfect standard. They're playing the game. I mean, they could come out and be like, look man, I hate this, but they don't.
Like the people from Big Bang and the people from Super Junior. They don't play to the standards and the set ideologies. They break those boundaries a bit.
They sort of break that fourth wall, because it seems like they're in a constant show.
Yes.
Right? And we're obviously the viewers, and they're the players of the movie. The thing is, movies are not real. These people don't exist. These perfect people that you idolize don't exist. They're people. And when they create pieces of content like this and music like this, it not only reinforces that idea. It's like, hey,
we're human.
We're not only human, but we're human, and we're gonna be human and here to stay, with our human side, not just our perfect idea that you have of us. And then that's what I think, that's what creates the army effect. I've decided to call it that. The army effect, because I've never seen, same with Blinks, and actually I think it's unique to K-pop. I've never seen such a strength in numbers and such strength in the fandoms, and it sort of becomes like I don't know, like it's part of them, and they have to protect it and encourage it and support it. And I've never seen that with any other fandom.
I believe, I have. I mean, there was One Direction and the Spice Girls, and there was Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears. You were too little to know that.
Yeah, but I've decided to look into that.
In their time, their fans were actually crazy, Efra.
Yeah.
Like, nuts crazy.
Yeah.
Like, tattooing and putting faces of people in their bodies crazy,
yeah.
Alright? And that was not popular. That wasn't common in the 90s.
Yeah, but they weren't pulling the numbers these guys are.
Oh no, that's totally different. I agree with that.
So that means,
I agree with that.
So that means this fandom, it's bigger than any other fandoms ever existed, basically.
But I also think the army effect comes from the labels and how they have managed to share the struggle stories from the beginning.
Right.
So you get to meet the group right from the, like, they get you involved from the first time that you see the group.
They make you feel important.
So they make you feel included, not important, included. It's like you're part of their journey and you're an important piece to that puzzle.
Right.
right?
And they make you feel like you've got to fulfill this role, sort of thing.
Yes, you have a duty to fulfill.
Yeah. Very clever
Hence,
psychology behind it.
very, very strong, and that's why I believe the K-pop fandoms become so attached to certain groups and individuals of the groups, because they have that sense of duty,
Yeah.
and not only that, but a responsibility
Yeah,
that comes with it.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, and my maybe.
It's pretty awesome, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing for
It's
supporting
totally bizarre. You're
the
right.
idols, but it's bizarre in the sense of it's unique. I mean, what the hell? You know what I mean? Because and I think about it like this. Yeah, maybe I was too young for the Backstreet Boys. Definitely was, and I was never into One Direction. But I told you, I've shared the story of these ladies in my school that had everything about them, spoke only about them, loved them, bought every ticket, bought every merch, supported them. If you said something bad about them, they will hit you. I get it. I that exists.
It becomes a total and complete lifestyle.
But why this is so common and the common denominator in Korean music? Name me another fandom from another part of the world that is sort of similar. It has the sort of similar attitudes towards it, sort of similar support and following behind it. Very rare.
I don't think. I think we're very ignorant still. I think we still have to do a bit more research. Money and number wise, I believe K-pop has knocked it out of the park. But the army type fandoms.
But with that amount of numbers.
Well, I also think that
but go on,
this is the era of online streaming. Like, if you wanted something to blow numbers, this was the moment to do it, because the information it's there, right here on the phone.
Oh, but here's my question. This is what my conflict is. This is what my conflict is, and hence why I keep saying there's so many lessons we've got to learn from, as South Americans, Latinos, whatever you want to call us, or from the Western world, or artists from the Western world that are killing it right now. I still believe there's so many lessons to learn from the K-pop industry, because this is something I can't explain. Like, so Tory Lanez releases an album, New Toronto 3, and it makes 60,000+ sales in the first week, 7 days.
Okay.
Right. And then you have GOT7
in the same
which
week.
released last week. New Toronto 3 released, I think, about 3 weeks ago now.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. So, still with the situation we're on right now, still with the financial situations going on right now, people maybe don't want to buy albums because they want to save that money. Fair enough. Maybe people are just streaming it. But I'm talking sales. GOT7 releases, and then it makes 220,000+ in the first 2 days.
That's incredible. That is just a...
Now, it's Tory Lanez bigger than GOT7. Arguably.
I don't know.
Arguably. People, I can go to any... Again, it's this part of the world
but
too.
I was gonna say, it's very different because we are not in Asia. We don't know how it moves on the other side of the world.
Cool, well, let's talk about it numbers-wise. Right?
Yeah,
the population,
they definitely win, but like...
Of where they're marketing to.
But the common knowledge of people might be in Asia. It's practically gonna be all about...
Pull up the population of Korea, South Korea, and then maybe they market to who? Japan. They release Japanese versions every now and then. Who else do they market to? They have a US market now.
Yeah, but I know they definitely market to
Europe. They also market to Europe.
I think it's
London
more.
fans
I think it's more Thailand, Philippines, Japan, China.
Okay, let's do it like this. Yeah. GOT7 Instagram. Yeah. Click on it. So they have 5.2 million right now. Search up Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez. He's got 9.2 million. Right? So he's nearly twice as big following wise. Weird to measure it like this. Right? But he's nearly twice as big as them in terms of followers. But I can assure you, he doesn't make any of the streams on Spotify that these guys do, or on iTunes in the last 3 weeks. You know, hell no, no way. Like they did, he did. GOT7 did 150,000 plus more sales in 2 days than he did in a week. That's crazy. But his market is larger.
Yeah.
Like people in South America know who Tory Lanez is.
Mm-hmm.
People in Jamaica know Tory Lanez. People in Europe, France, Germany, they know. Now, if I go outside, if I ask anyone and I tell you, well, do you know who Tory Lanez is? They'll be like, yeah, I've heard of maybe. Then maybe they'll say maybe or yes. If I put one of the songs, they recognize it. I play any of GOT7 songs, they'll be like, who the hell is this?
Yeah, what is this?
What is this? Who are they? Right? I can even guarantee you that seems to be the case still, because and my point being this is what my point is. With a smaller market, arguably, how are these guys able to sell more than some of the biggest artists in the world right now?
Well, they have two of the biggest. They sell to two of the biggest the countries with most people in it, China and India.
But do they sell to the Chinese market?
Yes.
So
hugely.
But isn't there like beef between these two countries?
Politically speaking, yes, but they even release Chinese versions for to get rid of the political issues.
I think the answer is on the fandom.
I also believe that's true.
You know who Tory Lanez is, but you
Yes.
don't feel compelled to listen to his new album.
Not at all. Not one
But
bit.
if you know who GOT7 is, you would
Sparks my
feel
curiosity.
interested
Yeah.
for some reason.
More than it does for. But I also believe that in the Korean.
But you're also biased.
No, not
you like
tot-
it.
Yeah, but okay. Let's say something that I'm not biased towards.
Hard. It's hard because we're
We've already constructed an opinion.
yeah. I like K-pop.
Yes.
I genuinely like it.
But like, okay, let's say it's a different genre. Say it's not K-pop. With the same, let's just.
All right.
It's a hard one to compare to, like, but
It's nothing like the K-pop industry anywhere else, dude.
I just want to say, for example, I just believe that there is a greater amount of work with a K-pop album that the Western artists don't go through with
Promotion-wise. Well, he also
promotion-wise.
He also didn't promote. I don't think he did much promotion for New Toronto 3.
And promotion work for K-pop idols
Ginormous.
starts like 3 months before they even drop anything whatsoever.
That's a lesson to learn.
I mean, NCT is due to release a comeback, and their Instagram is like filled with teasers and photos and stuff that it's about to come. Like, people already like, so they build this hype, right?
Right.
Before they release anything.
I see what you're saying.
So, like, I went through it with EXO, and when they were going to release Obsession, I remember
Seeing all the photos
all
and
the
talking
photos,
about it.
and they would drop it, like, they would give you hints of what was to come next and stuff. And yeah, so they build this whole momentum before you actually get to see any finished product whatsoever. So I think that's what gives you the bulk effect when they release a music video. You know, everybody wants to know what it is, even if you're not interested in the band. You're curious enough to click on it and see what's up.
Yeah, I also feel marketing wise very clever with their marketing, because they market to their market. So Tory Lanez markets to the world, right? He markets to. Yeah, he markets to the world because he makes songs that trend
That are
worldwide.
appealing to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a very broad.
Yeah, and he's sort of looking for those number ones. So so that in radios it will be playing all the time. In it will be number ones on YouTube and trending all that stuff. And the bad news about that is that it generates a lot of interest around our artists, which is great, but it doesn't make hardcore fans. It makes people that then, oh, I like this song from,
know of the name and probably a couple of songs, but
same as
they're not invested enough.
Yeah, great evidence of that is Roddy Ricch, The Box, right? But if you see his actual monthly streams, right, which would be like his fans and stuff like that, the conversion rate between people who follow his who become fans is so low, because the huge amount of numbers that are coming in to listening to The Box or Die Young and all that stuff is like, oh, I know that song and I like that song, but I don't like Roddy Ricch. I just like that song. So that I feel like with these bands, they don't really market to appeal to everyone. They market to appeal to a targeted audience.
Yeah, a certain type of audience.
So it's like if you have a product, right, and it's a nails product, I'm not gonna advertise it to men. I'm gonna advertise it to women who have seen acrylic nails or follow pages that do nails and stuff like that. Boom, that's what I'll do as a marketer. I feel like they kind of do the same, and maybe the Western artists maybe look more for numbers rather than quality in numbers, and then ironically enough, this quality in numbers then turns into more numbers in the long run. Anyways.
Yeah, it becomes like a reproductive system. It's like it multiplies as it goes.
This is I always say this, like if you want to know how true stuff is, look at first your community, look at first your own life, families, friends. Data and numbers is very easy to get lost to, and they lose meaning. So this is a huge piece of evidence here. It does become anecdotal, so it becomes problematic. You can't generalize it, but to see how true it is, first look at your own surroundings. You sparked my interest into XO. My spark in interest in XO has turned into this huge
experience of
music,
the genre,
and that I wish it would have been a lot sooner. And I feel so weird the fact that I didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really thought provoking me when I sometimes I just think about this stuff. It's like, and I see numbers like those, and then I see statistics, and I'm like, man, what the hell makes K-pop so different? Why am I into BTS music if I don't understand the language? Now, that's what I've always said to you. It's like, it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm. They have to speak. They have to be incredible singers.
Yeah.
Incredible artists. As a overall, they have to sing. They have to dance.
Yeah, performers. Yeah.
They have all the stars in their name. This is something that only the K-pop industry does. Hence why I've said to you that it's gonna take over the world. Yeah. BTS is just the beginning, dude. Psy was just the beginning.
He was indeed. I actually believe he is the reason why K-pop became so popular on the Western world.
Big Bang, they had a huge impact too. And we don't know about the first generation of K-pop, which we will get into. And we're still trying to figure out, like, first generation, second generation, third generation, who's fourth and stuff like that. But they've always done things differently, right? And it's always been successful. It's so successful that they can be super successful numbers wise, without saying successful one more time, in their own little bubble of that part of the world, and you will never know in this part of the world, and they're killing with numbers better than some of the Western artists.
Yeah, it absolutely, and
that's
that
nuts.
To me that just doesn't.
Now I could be wrong. Maybe I'm seeing things favoring the K-pop stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. I think we're still very ignorant when it comes to the world's vision of music and how, and because I believe that the music industry works differently depending on the area and the demand of the place that you're working in, and then you can see it in very small scales, and then you can see it in huge scales, and it tends to get generalized by those big names. Oh, America. Oh, UK. But
the American market.
Yeah. Which actually, they're influential. Yes, they have a lot of control over a lot of things. But even in America, you get smaller industries that, like, say, subdivisions of the music industry per se, like country music. It's a very
Niche-y,
niche,
but it's ginormous.
but exactly, and they make a lot of money, but they don't make a lot of noise in the rest of the world. So I believe that the music industry has it changes depending on the demand of the area. So I feel like I'm still very ignorant in my in forming opinions into saying, oh, it's just Asia, that's just how it works. Because if we're gonna go to Asia, I mean, in India, they got their own Indian pop.
Dude,
That and Bollywood is huge.
The hell?
Right? And they sell enormously.
Numbers, dude.
Like ridiculous amount of copies and numbers, and it's mind boggling, right? So it's another thing that we should explore, see what, because trying to understand the K-pop just made me hungry to try to understand how the music industry works depending on the area, because
look at also
what's
like,
the demand?
look at also, like, you know, it's KR&B, this, you know, this Korean rap that we
Exactly.
haven't
So
even
it becomes very specific to a specific audience, and that's a number that's a market on its own.
Yep.
So it's a very peculiar one. So, and I believe it would be very ignorant of me to say, oh, this is just how this side of the world works, or that side of the world works, because it's way more complex than.
I'm a dummy. I'm just brainstorming.
Absolutely,
brain vomiting here.
I agree with you.
Hence why I thought this would be an amazing idea, because I have so many questions. I want to learn so much. I want to talk to so many people, and and this would be the place where I'd want to talk to them. You know, in a relaxed way, where we can. There's no time limit. We can talk.
And it's just like this. It's just
learning, like a genuine conversation.
It's just having a conversation. None of this was planned, and that was one of my biggest concerns today. Not gonna lie, this was me stepping out of my comfort zone today.
So everything we've done in the past has been planned.
Everything
from kids.
From my experience overall in life, you know, when you stand in front of a camera and you have a microphone and you need to have prepared
theater
points, and I thought it was very even though I watch podcasts, so I know how they work, that's why I knew you were a bit scared. And I enjoy them thoroughly. Like, I watch 3-hour podcast and I'm like, yes, this was fantastic, I enjoyed it so much, and I go through the whole conversation with them. But
you talk to the phone.
Yeah, basically I do. Sometimes I reply to them in my head. I'm like,
I sometimes sort of, like, I find myself then making a sandwich and imagining I'm talking to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, talking back to,
like, what would I say if he would have said that to me? You know, literally. Yeah.
Well, so I know how it works, so I understand the concept of a podcast, but because we approached it for the first time ever in my channel as a reviewing music videos, and we kind of have a list. There's a certain topics that we talk about, what's trending and stuff.
The music sparks specific conversations.
Exactly. So there's initiators of conversation. So I was a little bit apprehensive of what was gonna happen today. Not gonna lie.
I just said to you, I the only reason why I said it is because we talk so much, like, people obviously off camera.
Yeah. This is actually our conversations on a daily basis.
I thought, mate, this would be amazing. This would be so good, and obviously we will learn as we go. The more we do, then hopefully
we can get people to,
once we get good enough and comfortable enough and stuff like that,
talk with us.
Because I don't want to do interviews.
No,
I don't like that.
Interviews are just, again, they're
planned.
They're set, they're planned, they're bulletins, they're
boundaries.
Yes, and I think there's something so special about just having somebody that you genuinely find interesting, and having a conversation about literally any topic whatsoever. Pizzas and TV shows,
like, say you have someone famous, right? Which that's what I mean. Once we get very comfortable and experience helps with all this, and it'll be difficult if you get someone famous and speak to them like you would speak to them to someone who isn't famous, because you have this idea of them in your head, especially if you follow them and you like them and you admire their work. That will become bizarre. That will be really bizarre. And I think that will never stop being bizarre. But we'll probably get better at it. But it's I don't like when and this is just my opinion, you know, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't like when you watch those shows and they
sort of have an agenda.
Wait, well, here's 7 questions.
Yeah.
Right? That would hopefully lead to him saying something like this. And it's like, mate, I don't care. Like, yes, I do have questions of what do you what's the inside of the industry.
But then again, it's like how you would lead a normal conversation with anybody ever, like with anybody that you would find interesting. I mean, you ask questions on a daily basis.
And we talk about nonsense.
Yes, absolutely. And like, for example, I think I was on a Zoom meeting, or was about to be on a Zoom meeting and bailed at the last minute because of my social skills. I was like, oh, I have to stand in front of it. But I'm doing it here. I don't know why I got so shook and I didn't do it. Never mind, that's not the point.
It's so bizarre. It's so crazy.
It's so weird. Never mind, that's not the point. But what I'm saying is that I was going to, and they were after the Zoom meeting ended.
Everyone's gonna relate to that.
After the Zoom meeting ended, everybody went back to the group chat and talked about it on the group chat. Obviously, I caught up then. Ghosting, just reading through it all. And then they were talking about, you know, their favorite movies and sharing was binge worthy in this time, right?
Yeah.
And I found some fantastic shows, and some others like make you question the people that you hang around with. You're like, wow, why you watch
Dude,
that?
I told you, but I saw my history.
Weird. It's freaking weird.
And I'm very into psychology, and one of the things I missed doing was forensic psychology, because there was a very short module when you're studying psychology, and I found this channel called Forensic Psychology, and it does breakdowns of interviews.
Yeah.
Obviously these people that you're watching the interviews of are weirdos, crazy, serial killers, all this stuff. So
they're definitely damaged,
and they're the easiest people to look for examples of certain stuff. And points and type of behaviors and what type of
because they're exaggerated on those individuals.
What type of strategies. The difficult ones are the ones you can't really figure out. It's like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
What is wrong with them?
So I've really been enjoying lately just sort of watching that guy break it down.
It's so bizarre. I hate it.
There's even court cases because they're public, so there's court cases, and I like the way one of the things you always see in movies is like that dramatic scene in the court. Yes, I testify, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then now seeing it real, it's very weird. And you see people's
strange.
emotions, and you see how heart-wrenching it is, and you're like, oh my gosh.
So that's why I don't like watching, like when you
So
start
I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah, when he starts going through those deep dark moments, I'm like, step away, and I'm gonna watch some people free dive. Let's go. Goodbye.
You've been obsessed with K-dramas.
No, not really. Actually, not that bad. Actually, you know what I've been obsessed with?
K-dramas.
Stop blowing me out like that.
Bro, I came in the living room.
No, I was watching.
Bale was half dead.
I was trying to watch The New King. It's on Netflix. Monica and I have been highly anticipating that drama. But it comes out weekly, like every Friday and Saturday, a new episode releases.
That's evil.
It's so bad, so you can't binge it in one go, right?
Evil.
So it's so terrible. It's like my brain can't cope with it. It's so annoying. So what you have seen me watching is that same show.
Do you think cinemas just kind of just disappear?
I have no idea. I do enjoy the cinema. By the way,
But you see how did you see before? Sorry, before that.
I just need to make a very important
Go on.
notice for you
Go on.
because you're gonna appreciate this very much.
Yeah.
Today marks a day of Endgame.
What?
Today marks a year of Endgame.
Well,
Today, like today was premiered.
Is that when we watched it?
Yeah.
No, we watched it like a few days ago.
We watched the day it premiered. Did remember that we did it purposely on midday so kids would be in school so we wouldn't have to queue or anything.
Yeah, but for example, I mean, it was before the matinee.
Before matinee, yeah.
But it was kind of empty.
Because
you see my point.
Yeah, no, but later that day they sold a lot of tickets.
Right. But that is literally one of the biggest movies ever.
Yeah.
I was just seeing.
I enjoy going to the cinema so much.
That's why I'm worried.
That's such a great experience.
I love it.
I
think it's an awful date. I think it's an awful date.
Depends on who you go with.
I think it's an awful first date.
It is, because you don't get to know the person.
It's a terrible first date.
Yeah. That's right. I think
it's also a trash second date too.
It's not on the good first stages. It's when you know the person a little bit better. It's a good fifth date.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Not that I haven't planned that or anything.
First date, ice cream. Second date, more ice cream. Third date,
ice cream again. And sushi.
Fourth
oh my
date,
god, I've been craving
walk in the
sushi
park.
so bad.
Yeah, I just think it's a horrendous date. But I love like going with you or with friends.
Yeah,
I actually enjoy more. I kid you not, I enjoy more going to the cinema with like you. yeah, than any of my other friends. They don't shut the hell up. And they don't appreciate when I talk. So you kind of do. So
yeah, well, I kind of like know what Monica and I, when we go to the cinema, is like, we've been together. It's a crazy.
I love going to the cinema with Monica. It's hilarious.
It's the best thing ever. Like,
she hates me, but it's so funny.
It's great. It is a good experience. But yeah, I think you need a good click. You need a click to go to the cinema.
Look, I love going out with my best friends.
I love going to the cinema myself as well. That's one of the things that I enjoy so much.
Really?
I love it. Going to the
just sort of sit
cinema,
there.
yeah, buying your popcorn and your ice cream or whatever you want to eat, and then you kind of like waiting for the movie. I just love it. It's great me time.
You're making it sound amazing. I just don't see it.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, that would.
I actually quite enjoy it. I've done it a couple of times as well. Like, I used to do that a lot when I was in Italy. Any movie that I like. Because I've got a pretty funny taste with movies. And then there's certain movies that I wouldn't watch with, say, my mom. Or you. Definitely not my dad. And,
what the hell are you watching, bro?
No, because, I like things that are, like, acting juicy. Like, dramas or historical things and...
boring stuff.
Yeah, things that people don't usually find interesting. And I'm like, yes, this is what I need to see for my brain.
Yeah, like, and actually, yeah. When Vale recommends...
like psychological thrillers and stuff like that, and you're like, what the hell are you watching?
Dude, the worst movie I've ever watched in my life. That movie was trash.
The Shape of Water.
Oh my god,
it was such a great movie. It was such a good, it's a masterpiece, and you just didn't appreciate it.
When it got good, that movie was so weird, bro.
It's such a good movie. I don't understand it.
He does the shakalaka boom boom with a mermaid. I mean, come on, merman. She basically sleeps with Aquaman. If Aquaman was real, that's what it would look like. Not like that good-looking guy with big chests and amazing biceps.
He wasn't good-looking.
Of course not. That's what Aquaman would probably look like if he was, shagging dolphins.
Efra!
Literally. But I don't even... Can I say that word?
No.
Oh,
that's
gosh
very
darn
rude.
It. Oh. That ruined my joke, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like... that movie was horrendous. It was so bad. And when it started getting
such a great movie. It was... Okay, I love
When he started
Guillermo
getting good...
del Toro, and you don't appreciate him, and it hurts me so much.
I don't. I had to study him in school. I hate it. It was the
It's
worst
so
lessons
great.
of my life.
I don't understand it. He's a visual genius.
When the movie got good...
It's like watching
when the movie got good,
Tarantino. It's just so good.
When the movie got good, it finished.
Yes.
Literally. It got good for like... It got good for like 3 minutes. Someone shot someone. They killed this guy. It turns out she can swim or something. I don't even remember, and I don't want to remember. And then this guy kind of dies. Oh, he gets shot. He gets bang, bang, bang right in the stomach like 18,000 times. Sick movie. Boom, over. And you're like, this is when it's about to get good.
To the water.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna, go down, and now it's gonna be like, wow, because it's Guillermo del Toro, so it's really weird. So I thought the movie was gonna be 6 hours long. It felt like it. It was horrendous. And the labyrinth of the whatever it's called.
Pan's Labyrinth.
It was horrendous.
It was such a good movie. You were just traumatized. You had a bad experience with Guillermo del Toro just because you got spooked by the Laberinto del Fauno.
Look, I still got spooked when we studied it in school, and I was 17. I hated it. I told my teacher, I hate this movie. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think it's a very silly movie. I would much rather just get an F. And then she was like, "Oh, but Efra, you speak the language perfectly because you have to study it for Spanish. But you speak the
Yes.
language perfectly. How come you're so turned off by it?" I was like, "Well,
Had a bad experience when I was a kid. Never want to see it again.
it's a very weird movie. He eats a fairy, puts ice in his hands. It's horrendous. And spoiler alert, it's a crap movie. So after that, she was like, okay, let's watch como, what is it? Agua para chocolate?
Uh-huh.
Como agua para chocolate. And I was like,
Yep.
a movie, still trash, but it's alright.
But see,
Boring,
I
though.
would have found no, but yes, cause you don't understand it though. You don't understand. I love movies that just
So
heightened it. They heightened
Oh,
human emotions.
That definitely did.
You know what I just love movies that highlight what it's like to be a human, what it's like to feel, and I don't know,
Huh?
the experience of being.
What did you say? What it's like to be a human?
Yeah.
What are you, an alien?
No, but like how do like connections and the thrill and disappointments of living and the fiddle things of life,
Mundane
and,
stuff.
yeah, and how important some stupid things like the weather can be so important for somebody in I just love seeing the world.
That's what I said on my essay.
I just love seeing the world from other people's eyes, you know? And I think watching it from in the movies, you really get that. I think that's the reason why I'm such a fan of good films.
I agree. I just don't like
and
the
that's
movies
why
you
I
watch.
don't really like the movies you like 007. What's the point in that?
Dude,
There's no point in
there's
that.
a new one coming out and it's gonna be banging. And I said banging like a pub lad, but it's gonna be so good. And my question is, right? Everyone's stuck at home now, and the reason why I'm asking is like, are cinemas going to just shut after this year? Because everyone's watching it online. Everyone's watching movies online. There's streaming services that just like that. But is the experience for people gonna be enough of an excuse or a reason for them to go out, get out of their own bubble, and go to a cinema and buy popcorn and all that stuff, with how the world is going to change? Because the world's gonna change after this.
Well, I
hope so.
I believe the online world, before we went into this situation, was already pretty strong in like streaming services and stuff, and people still had a reason to go to cinemas.
Because blockbusters are released on cinemas, not on Netflix. Or
So what happens if the blockbusters start to get released on streaming services?
what happens if James Bond gets released on iTunes, was it Apple Movies or Amazon Prime or Netflix, and they just, you have to pay for it even more. You have to pay £10, whatever. What would happen then?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good question.
And I'm scared because I love the cinema.
What would you do
About what?
if blockbusters became an online streaming only service, and you also had the choice to go and watch it on the cinema? Which one would you choose?
Ooh, I think personally, but that's because I like the cinema.
Mhm.
I think I would go to the cinema.
I would be torn.
Really?
I would be torn. I like the cinema, but like I said, like I find
Go
it
there
this-
on your own, mate.
yeah, I find that this is a very important me time, but there's nothing better than being in your pajamas and hugged into your little cocoon of coziness and not having to see any humans
And
for 3 hours, you know?
And I think it would probably be cheaper in the long run, because how much is a ticket? Here in London, it's like $8.99, something like that.
Yeah,
For a ticket.
not expensive.
How much is a Netflix subscription? $5.99, $7.99.
$7.99, something like that.
You get all that content. You get other movies.
And you don't even have
It's
to
a
get
no-brainer.
dressed.
It's a no-brainer, mate.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's
You can do streaming parties and all that
I
stuff
would
with your
be
friends.
I would personally be torn.
Yeah, I will still.
Depends on what the plan is. If I'm actually going with you, or if I know
What's the
that
idea?
I will enjoy that specific movie. Because now that I'm watching a lot of like movies online, I'm thinking of movies that I've already seen in the cinemas, and like see them on here at the home, and I'm like, it's a little bit disappointing compared to what it's like to be in the experience of being in the cinema.
Yep.
So perhaps I will still go to the cinemas.
Yeah, it's very weird, and I'm very concerned as well for like
Depends
concerts.
on the mood.
I'm very concerned as well for like concerts and clubbing and bars and restaurants and stuff like that, because that's some of the stuff I love to do.
Do you think it will be that affected? I don't think it will.
No, it's just how long, mate.
Yeah, that's a good point, but
It'll go back to normal.
I think the minute this lifts up, everything will go back to their normal lives.
Nope, I disagree.
I actually think.
No, I disagree with you, because it's not gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be like gradually.
Yes.
But how long? That's what I'm talking about. How long until then gathering, clubs that host 2,000 people are open? 6 months?
Yeah,
7 months?
Crazy. This year is effed
That's the
up.
stuff I love doing.
Yeah, that's why you're like a caged lion in this house, going up and down, working out and going out again and working out again. And
It's crazy. I'm going crazy.
you're going crazy.
I'm going crazy.
And I'm fine. And I'm here
You're
just
not mad
loving
at it.
life.
You're not mad at it at all. Actually,
No.
your lifestyle hasn't changed much because of this.
No, really, actually, it's buggled.
It has changed.
It's buggled with. It has.
Yeah, but what about the
muddled
gigs,
my definitely. My gigging life has totally been down the drain. It's like
Because
put
no
to a
clubs,
halt.
no bars, no pubs, no nothing open.
Yeah, any social gatherings whatsoever. So any of the events that I had, nothing. They're all stuck into cancelled. But
Sorry, what were you saying? I interrupted.
it has buggled my brain to have you all of you here at home.
Yeah.
No, honestly, because there's like this holiday vibe at home. It's like this relaxed environment.
But it's like hell is going on in hospitals and stuff like that.
Yes,
yeah.
it's a very weird one, and it kind of gives me the sensation, the feeling of maybe I can just lay back and relax a little bit. When I know that if I don't work at home, then I won't have to pay the bills. So it's a funny one. I think I've had to consciously shake myself off that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, everybody's at home type of feel, because that's so bizarre. I think in the 10 years I've been living in London, this is the first time where like
You don't know what's next.
we're no, and not only that, but all 4 members of the family are like at home more
Chilling.
than ever.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's a weird one.
Talking about, how we were talking about, 'cause, we used to make money when we were kids and stuff, and one of the biggest changes, and this sort of like highlights how things change so much for us in terms of like the music and the shows and stuff like that.
And lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like the biggest challenge was adapting to the fact that it was so cool, our lifestyle back in Venezuela, and seeing it deteriorate because of the situation there, and then seeing the huge change when we moved here, and basically starting from scratch, to some extent, and now that you sort of have time to reminisce and think and all that stuff.
Yeah, I've become very nostalgic.
Yeah,
like,
it gets very weird.
the first time in 10 years, Efra, that I've ever felt homesick ever.
No,
Like
not
I
me.
was, listen to me. I think it was only like a few weeks ago that I had an episode where everything was like, I want to go back home. It's like, when I never ever had felt like that before ever.
Yeah, being stuck inside gives you weird.
It's very weird, because it gives you time to think, a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
Which is very strange, because obviously sometimes, because I work at home quite often, but I'm pretty busy, so like at home I'm pretty consumed and concentrated and stuff, like editing and like filming and trying to find the information and connecting with other people and whatever. So I never really have that quiet time in my head.
Always busy.
Yeah, so now I feel like I have it, and sometimes my brain takes me like, whoo, some trips like all days back.
Yeah.
And you're like, why?
And you start thinking of everything, like financial stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the freedom you had at one point, the freedom you don't have now.
Yeah.
Wonder what's gonna look in the future.
It's
Your
like,
aspirations, your dreams.
And then you become like anxious and like on edge for no reason, and I'm like,
I've been trying to take it slow, but at the same time,
those feelings and thoughts come haunt you sometimes. They come bite you in the butt.
At the same time, I also feel a bit guilty, like that I'm to some extent enjoying being at home and enjoying time with the family and with you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's
Such
not
a terrible time outside.
literally,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's such confusing time and stuff like that. So I literally do not know like what's going on and what like
and
not
what's the
on,
right thing to feel. Yeah.
Yeah, what's happening inside here and stuff like that. But it's very bizarre. Hence why I maybe this was the perfect time to start a plus, because there's so, you know, we have so much thoughts. Yeah, and I feel like just conversing it's also kind of therapeutic for me to some extent.
Absolutely, it's 100% therapeutic,
Yeah.
and I feel very excited to be able to share it with people.
Yeah, I'm you know, one of the things you always get from my experience with other Instagram influencers mainly, they're very, the bigger you get, the less you read comments, right? And I'm a bit like that, especially on Instagram. The more attention you get in those type of stuff, the more advertisements you do, the more modeling stuff you do, the more agencies are involved and other people are involved. It becomes a money thing, and it's, you know,
it becomes a work and not
and then,
a job and not a.
And then your work depends on other people as well, and other people depend on you. So it turns serious. Then it's like seeing then other people's opinions, messages, and other stuff. It turns dangerous.
Because then it also changes your own perspectives in your own personal life.
Yeah, and this has completely changed a lot of my outlook on comments and feedback and all that stuff, because I'm learning. I'm learning, literally learning.
And it's such a positive, like, I don't want to sound cheesy, but I find it like it's such a positive way of communication, like. And I don't know, I just find it very constructive.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what's different, that we learned through you guys, we learned through the comments, we're expanding our knowledge. We've never had that attitude of we know everything, we know everything, or we want to know everything. We've always been, maybe the way we've been brought up, but we've always been like curious and
open-minded. I think that's a very good thing about the two of us. I think we're very open to whatever comes.
I just feel, do whatever you want. That's how I feel.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, mate.
Do whatever you want, mate.
Literally, it doesn't bother me. I don't care, but I will wonder why. You know, I do want to know, like, oh, what makes people do this? What makes people do that? Why don't I do that? Or why do I want to do that? Just sort of very curious in general. So let us know if you enjoy this, and we'll carry on making podcasts like this, and
it's so exciting.
And if
Future Friday Plus,
if you have any topics you'd like us to talk about, any things that would spark conversation, any things you'd like us to maybe do a bit of research on and speak about, if you have anyone that has the answers to any of our questions, that, you know, we'll keep conversing and stuff, or anyone that likes to be on the podcast, and you know, you have something to offer on the table, maybe you sing, maybe you dance, maybe you know
have
someone,
experiences that you want to share with us,
and things that you feel like would be amazing to talk about. We will figure out a way to maybe do Skype or Zoom or whatever it is. I don't think people use Skype anymore.
No, I think it's Zoom now.
Zoom, yeah. So
Zoom.
We'll figure out a way to do that, and get some of you involved if you'd like to get involved and converse and stuff like that.
Absolutely, and not only that, but I think feel free to share your perspectives and your points of view and what you believe, respect, like according to what we have spoken about, and comment as many times as you like, because I've read a lot of comments, people saying, oh, I'm commenting as I go, so I'm sorry if I'm coming up a lot. Don't apologize. Honestly, it's great to see you guys honestly being invested in this type of conversations and stuff. So if you want more of this, let us know. We're gonna carry on, I think, and thank you so much.
One more thing. For next week's one, what we'll do is we're gonna do a Q&A. So we had planned for when we reached the amazing number of 20,000 subscribers, but now, I mean, it's only been a week and it's already passed, so that's nuts. But we had a plan, but then GOT7 released, and Mamamoo released,
and our podcast got blocked, and I
bit of
had
stress.
to upload it again, and it was just a
So-
crazy time.
So because it's Sunday, and Sunday is usually a relaxed day for me. I'm usually kind of relaxed for you.
Well, if I'm not working the night before, I'm
gigs.
usually quite capable.
Yeah. So I thought, the Sunday would be a great day, or maybe we'll even do it on Saturdays. I think it will probably go live on Sundays.
Yes, I think Sunday's a good
We're still
day.
trying to figure out. We don't want it to interfere too much with with Feature Friday on Fridays. So, yeah, but do put all your questions below. We not to sound a bit egotistical here, but we get a lot of questions of our background, where we're from, accents, what I do, because a lot of you have gotten in contact on Instagram, and my Instagram is completely different, and what I actually do for a living is completely different to the music. That's what I mean. Things changed a lot once we moved here, and now they're slowly, gradually returning to being so music invested, and so show invested, and being behind a camera again in this fashion. So
It's very exciting times.
yeah, and I know that sparks a lot of questions and stuff like that. We haven't really taken the time to talk to you guys directly. So do throw any questions you like, even who our favorite artists are. Who I think you probably should have figured that out, because I've said it. But yeah. So anything you'd like, and anything literally
you find relevant about it, that you can ask about freely.
and we will
Do our best to
I
answer.
think at this point we could probably answer everything.
Yeah.
Unless there's that many, but then we'll choose, like, if there's similar questions, we'll choose just one and
Yeah,
to address.
of course. But
Beauty of a podcast is we can address most of them through, without having to be like, oh, so what's your favorite color? Oh, a purple with pink and red. Okay, next one. You see what I mean? We can be a little bit more like
relaxed about it. Yeah.
conversation. Have an actual conversation about it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
yeah.
I can have a cup of coffee next week.
Ah, mate.
Because I was about to make a cup of coffee, and I found
No
out that I
coffee.
have no coffee left.
Joke, mate. So peace.
Bye bye.